What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, John J. II. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on a Tuesday, the 16th of September, 2025. Got a great show in store for you guys. Got NFL stuff to talk about. Got some college football to talk about. Got the GSN Sports Network Challenge 6 results are in. Just took place this past weekend. Had a great event. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But first and foremost, we have to give a tribute to Charlie Kirk, the great Charlie Kirk, American patriot, gone too soon. And it just sheds the light on the political violence and the state this country is in with the hatred and the polarization. This really highlights it. This has really it's been tough for me this past week, as it's been tough for a lot of Americans. Hasn't been sitting right with me. Just to see the hatred, to see the glorification of the assassination from individuals throughout the internet and on social media, it's sickening. Makes me sick to my stomach to see some of this stuff. So keep the Kirk family in your prayers. A lot to uncover with this one, a lot in the works as far as an investigation. So this won't be going anywhere. I'm going to keep a focus on this as well for this show, as it's very close to me, close to my heart, and it involves everybody that lives in the United States. So my thoughts and prayers are with the Kirk family and our nation, as a post was made last week following the news breaking of his passing. So this resonates within GSN and our community and everywhere. This resonates everywhere. So thoughts and prayers, and we need the Lord right now. I'm just going to say that. Looking at the NFL slate of games, a lot of things confirmed what I believed, what I thought was going to happen. The one team that really screwed the pooch for me after such an electric week one, and after everything, all the fireworks that we saw in week one, and all the hype around this team, the Pittsburgh Steelers dropped the ball. They laid an egg. We didn't expect this to happen. I had them in my parlay. Now, obviously, I had the Giants against the Cowboys as well. The Cowboys win it in garbage time. You got to give it to them. Now, I guess the silver lining is I didn't lose solely on that. But if you lose a parlay in a last-second garbage time field goal situation in OT, then it's just kind of the writing's on the wall for you. And you're going to accept that loss with open arms because that's just how the cookie crumbles. Now, yeah, it's bullshit that it had to happen that way. But it's a hard-fought win on both sides. You can't look at it and be like, okay, this team got the brakes beat off of them. And they shouldn't have, right? They weren't battling injuries. They were resilient, and they won the game. Jerry Jones was in attendance, and let's be honest, he was enamored with that win, as he should have been. You're playing a great Giants team. Malik Neighbors of the Giants put up 37, 38 points for me. Just incredible, impeccable performance from Malik and the entire Giants team. I mean, Coach Brian Daboll can't really be mad about that loss. That's a loss that essentially qualifies as an asterisk. Okay, it's an asterisk loss that you're not going to lose too much sleep over. But just looking at the stat sheet for this Steelers-Seahawks game, I mean, the Seahawks did everything right. Okay, Sam Darnold, finding his home in Seattle, doing a great job, passing for 2 touchdowns. 2 interceptions, though. 295 yards, 22 for 33. Kenneth Walker, the third, 13 carries, 105 yards, 8.1 average, and a tutty. And also one for Torrey Horton, A.J. Barner. Listen, these guys got it done. Even an interception from Kobe Bryant on the defense. I mean, just a great overall performance. And the Seattle Seahawks got to feel good about getting that win in Pittsburgh. Really shutting the door on any hopes that this Pittsburgh Steelers team was going to be anything crazy in week 2. Now, it could be argued that they're on their high horse from week 1, that Aaron Rodgers is still atop the mountain of beating his old team in the New York Jets. Now, he might be happy about that, but listen, this is going to sober you up real quick, losing a game like this to the Seattle Seahawks, which really, there's so many moving parts with Seattle. Nobody expected them to win this game, and no one expected them to really be much of a team. This is very much a building year for the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of moving parts, both coaching-wise, quarterback-wise. Sam Darnold coming over from Minnesota, taking over under center. But listen, guys, I mean, if these guys can get it done quickly, then they're going to be able to make a splash this season. I mean, it's only going into week 3. There's a lot of work to be done. Going 1-1 now, both the Steelers and the Seahawks are 1-1. It's really early. It's really early. Now, I've heard it be said. It's been said by analysts, been said by commentators, been said by players, past players alike. Now, listen, it's still early. We're still figuring out schemes, okay? But you had the preseason. That's the thing. You have the preseason to work out these kinks. Yes, it's early. Yes, you're dealing with schemes. Yes, you're dealing with new players. I understand. But at the same time, I don't want to hear this bullshit where we got to work out the kinks and still get the iron out, because you've had that opportunity. Shit, you've had the whole offseason to figure that out. Okay, now, I guess what's pleasing to Lions fans that we will highlight is they got the kinks ironed out after week 1. Losing to a great, and I notice I said great, not good, and by no means am I a fan of this team. Losing to a great Green Bay Packers team, going to be a true threat in the NFC North. That's been proven. To then rebound and really do some damage, putting up 52 points against the Chicago Bears at home, playing in Ford Field. That's got to feel good for Dan Campbell. It's got to feel good for the new coordinators that are now in their new positions. And it feels good for the team. Okay, got to give a shout out to Lucas in our community, calling out the Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown. I think he got 3. We're gonna check the stat sheet just to double check, but I think he got 3. And yeah, he did. He got 3 receiving touchdowns. We wanted 1 anytime touchdown. He got 3 of them. Now, if you got 2, say you got 1.5, I mean, that's got to be paying pretty good. I think we got him at 105 or 135 or something like that pre-game. But you add that to a parlay with 2 or 3 other teams, you're looking pretty good as far as odds, and especially they're tossing out boosts like candy on FanDuel right now. Haven't hit one big yet, but we're gonna hit one big. I think we went 4 for 6 this past weekend on the pizza money parlay. That usually pays out pretty good, especially with the boost. And it's only a matter of time before we hit all 6. Now, yeah, it's been said that the more legs you add, the more infinitely low your chances of hitting it are. This is all I'd hope. And it played out. Honestly, the best worst case scenario happened for me. I lost by 2 legs. So the Steelers shit themselves, and Cowboys won it in garbage time. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to live with it, you're going to eat it, and you're going to move on. You know why it's the best worst case scenario? Is because we didn't lose by 1 leg, we lost by 2. And we didn't lose by 3, we lost by 2. So take that with a grain of salt. Take your losses with a grain of salt, and really take your losses in stride. Because the better you take your losses, the easier it's going to be to reconvene the troops and rally and find that win and find those opportunities that you missed. Okay? Like, the Pittsburgh Steelers are automatically suspect for me. The Bills are playing great. Okay? The Patriots are playing good. The Dolphins are terrible, right? I mean, just looking at this slate of games, you can really draw a lot of conclusions from this. Now, I got to hand it to Baker Mayfield and the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers because that was a gritty win last night against the Houston Texans. Now, the Chargers are also elated. Justin Herbert is taking control of this team, similar to what we saw several years ago now. Now he's kind of growing into his veteran phase of the NFL. So we're seeing some prominence from Herbert, and Harbaugh's getting kind of comfortable over there, back in the NFL, back on the West Coast. He's feeling comfortable, so they're not looking bad. They're not looking bad. Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and the Las Vegas Raiders, they got some work to do. They have some work to do. Packers are looking good. 49ers are solid. Bears got a lot of work to do. Now, that's another reason why Dan Campbell wanted to really stick it to him, is because it's not because it's Ben Johnson. He likes Ben Johnson. He enjoys Ben Johnson. He did a hell of a job for him in his tenure in Detroit. But he had to run it up on him because, and Ben said it in a press conference, that's who he is. That's what he's going to do. What the hell is he supposed to do? He's got to run it up on me. He's got to run it up on anybody if he has the opportunity to, because you know damn well Ben Johnson, if the roles were reversed, he would have done the same thing. And it's kind of an honorable thing to do that and to say that. So got to tip your cap to Ben Johnson for that, knowing he's going through some growing pains. As the Bears have been going through some growing pains for quite some time, he's got to bring some light and breathe some life back into this Chicago Bears team. The Falcons look solid. I can't believe the Vikings got dusted by him. Obviously, the injury for J.J. McCarthy is not ideal. Speaking of injuries, the Bengals, Joe Burrow, out for 3 months minimum, still getting the win against the Jaguars somehow, some way. The Eagles have proven their dominance again against the Chiefs as they go to 0-2. Terrible. The Ravens, they rebound against from a tough loss against the Bills, but the Bills are a solid team. They dragged the Jets 30-10. So when you look at the Jets, they're terrible. Okay? Looking at the Seahawks beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, it kind of puts things in perspective that you really had two teams that were terrible. One was just more terrible than the other one. That's probably the only reason the Steelers won last week. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. And I'm not a Steelers fan. Okay? I did like Big Ben, especially in retrospect. I did like Big Ben. I liked the era of the Steelers with Big Ben. They won a lot of football games. Okay? Now, Mike Tomlin might see the writing on the wall and get Rodgers out of there. If he does, you might see a premature retirement from the grandfather. Now, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope he continues onward and upward and they find some success and Tomlin can continue his over 500 record that's ongoing. So that's my hope. I like Mike Tomlin. I really do. I like Mike Tomlin. But we gotta see some things happen so for him to remain with that record-breaking tenure that he has going. Looking at the Pro Capper, yes, it is true. We are 2-0. Now, I got to give my condolences to Bobby, a.k.a. Ducky Booch. That was a tough loss, having Joe Burrow go down. Now, everybody that had Joe Burrow in their fantasy team, they're scrambling right now. They're in dire straits. When we get Robert on here next, we're going to talk about what you do in a situation like that. How do you find recovery when you lose your QB1? Now, in a 10-man league, and God forbid in a 12-man, you'd like to think that you have a QB1 and a QB2 minimum. You got to have a QB2. Now, you can stack the skill players, stack the wide receivers, and maybe have a couple extra running backs because those guys are probably going to get injured. But your quarterback, you'd like to think that your QB1 isn't going to get injured in week 2. Okay, or in the preseason, which a lot of people lucked out. I say lucked out to the misfortune of J.J. McCarthy getting injured in the preseason last year. But now the problem is with JJ, the problem with Joe Burrow, which hasn't really been true for him, is he is now in the category of quarterbacks that are susceptible to injury. That is a category, especially when you're talking about the quarterback position, that you do not want to be in. You don't want to be on that list. Okay, now JJ is a newcomer to that list. Joe Burrow kind of has been proving people wrong, not being on that list too much as of late, as of recent years, but now he's back on that list. Tua Tagovailoa is on that list. Aaron Rodgers could even be on that list. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's quarterbacks that are in that category. Now, there's also quarterbacks that are on the opposite list. And I'm not going to say who because it could jinx it. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. It's too early. We're going into week 2. We don't need any jinxes. We don't need any black magic going on. We don't want that energy. We don't need that energy at all. So we're going to avoid that. Let's talk about, okay, so we had our placement week. We played against Paulie and Big J yesterday at Briar. Paulie and Big J played great rounds. They're actually going to be heading up north to play some golf this coming weekend. So a little bit jealous of them. They're going to have a great time up there. A lot of drinks, a lot of laughs. So happy for them. But something that really emulates what I was expressing and exploring yesterday, kind of knowing that we already clinched, Tony and I already clinched, and we feel good about it. So how was I going to react to that? I wanted to swing loose. I wanted to swing free. I wanted to hit the ball. That's all I want to do is hit the ball. Okay. Golf, you have to hit the ball. It's a known fact. You have to hit the ball. You can't play golf without hitting the ball. Right? So commit to the shot. Don't back off anything. If you're going to be throttling a club, you still got to swing all the way through. And very important thing that you might not do if the circumstances are different, you still have to do it to a certain extent, regardless of how careful you're trying to play, regardless of how smart a golf you're trying to play, is you got to take risks. You got to take risks because that's how you score well. That's how you have the opportunity to score well. Trust your principles. Trust your pillars. Be confident in your pivot points and commit to the shot. You have to do those things. You have to have your pillars. You have to know what you're doing with your swing. I'm talking pre-swing. I'm talking beginning the backswing. I'm talking all the way back to the top of the apex of the backswing. I'm talking about the beginning of the downswing, all the way down to what you're doing your hands, dropping your hands low before contact, and then last but not least, the follow-through, and the cherry on top is the form. The form and the footwork. Keep those things in mind because all these things are not drawn up equally. They're not created equally. They're not a one-size-fits-all instrument. So everybody's swing is different. When I'm trying to look at people's swings, people are telling me, hey, look at my swing. What am I doing wrong? People will ask me that. And as long as I see a lot of the core mechanics are sound, I'm not going to be changing a lot of things with people's swings. I don't want to. I really don't. The reason is, like I just said, everybody's swing is different. You need to have the main mechanics, the pivot points, the weight transfers, the location of the hands on the follow-through and pre-follow-through. These things have to be hit. They're checkpoints that have to be hit. But if those things are being hit, as far as the appearance and other intricacies that involve the anatomy of the golf swing, I'm not going to be changing a whole lot of stuff because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Especially mid-season, you're playing a lot of rounds. You might be trying to score. You might be playing a skins match. You might be playing a competitive tournament. You might be playing the Gin Sports Network Challenge, the GSNC. And you don't want to reinvent the swing. And I don't blame you. So make slight adjustments and then commit to the shot at the end of the day. But make sure you're hitting those checkpoints. Absolutely true. Switching gears a little bit. Talk about Tom Brady. Talk about the GOAT. I don't think he is foreign to this show by any means. So during Monday night's game last night against the Chargers, there was some controversy. There was some controversy in the air, and it surrounded Tom Brady, and it surrounded him wearing a headset in the coach's booth. And the question was asked, is this against the rules? Is this guy allowed to do this? Because, yes, he is a minority owner. Yes, he is a commentator for Fox. But is he providing intel to the coaching staff in the booth? Now, it was said that this was not a breach of the rules. Okay? So NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said in a statement, there are no policies that prohibit an owner from sitting in the coach's booth or wearing a headset during a game. Brady was sitting in the booth in his capacity as a limited partner. He wasn't doing anything wrong. So you might ask, why did this spark controversy? Why are people looking at this with a microscope? Because social media runs rampant. And people like to talk about the GOAT. Okay? So Pete Carroll even chimed in. He said, he's not talking to us about anything other than our conversations we had that are really random. They're not set up. They're not structured in any way. He knows he's been very respectful of what he does otherwise. He's of the opinion that he doesn't want to be that kind of factor, so he's not. He wants to have a hands-off approach. Now, we all remember Deflategate. Okay, we remember some of the controversies that Brady has been caught up in recent years. More like during his playing time. He's not foreign to controversy. He also got tied up and lost millions of dollars in the Sam Bankman-Fried FTX scam. The guy's no foreigner to controversy. So it kind of goes without saying, he knows how to handle a situation like this. And this is hardly news. But it's an excuse for us, it's an excuse for them to talk about the GOAT. Okay? Tom continues to be prohibited from going to a team facility for practices or production meetings. McCarthy said in a statement Tuesday, he may attend production meetings remotely, but may not attend in person at the team facility or hotel. He may also conduct an interview offsite with a player like he did last year a couple times, including the Super Bowl. For the Super Bowl. Of course, as with any production meeting with broadcast teams, it's up to the club, coach, or players to determine what they say in those sessions. Now, with a question I have, because Jerry Jones is very invested in the Dallas Cowboys. He is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He is involved with who's coming in and out of the stadium, AT&T Center. He's very involved with who's going to be his quarterback, who's going to be his coach, who his coordinators are, how business is handled. He's very much involved with that. So I think this more or less involves his affiliate relationship with Fox than it does as being an owner and being involved with happenings for the Raiders. There's a little bit of a triangle going on. You got the commentator job with Fox. You got the limited ownership, right? And you also got the football expertise that is just sitting up there in his head, probably burning a hole through his skull, trying to come out, and he wants to express this knowledge to his players. I mean, it's really in his best interest to do so. So I would be remiss if it wasn't to do with his Fox contract. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's what the reasoning is. End of story. Period. The GSNC 6 was a great success. Took place this past Saturday, the 13th of September, 2025. It was a great event. Had great weather. Had fall golf vibes. All the liking. The winners of the 2025 edition, the sixth edition of the GSNC 6, are Harley Lang and Connor Cowan. After playing a playoff against my father, Paul Binkowski, and my cousin, Marky Santos, a great, hard-fought tournament. They put up a great round, tied the round at 9 under, went out for a playoff, played hole 10. Lang and Cowan won with a birdie against Marky and Paulie's par. A tough loss, a hard loss to swallow, but by no means should they hold their heads low. Instead, keep your heads up high. You made it to a playoff. Now, it was intense. The competition was fierce. It was tense, okay? The tension, you could cut it with a knife. It was getting a little bit hot. There's a lot of factors that are involved, especially in a playoff, okay? I was a little bit blunt during my pre-playoff speech on the tee box. That was intentional. There's no doubt that both of these teams were built for this. But at the end, there must be one. And Lang and Cowan came up on top. Hats off to all the teams involved, especially the ones in the playoff, but most importantly, everyone that came out and participated for a great cause for the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation. A great benefit, a great outing, a great cause. They do a lot of great work throughout the state of Michigan, and their message and their mission resonates throughout the country. So we're happy to have them as a partner. We're happy to put on this event. We're happy to do it at Briar Ridge. George does a hell of a job over there at Briar. We love playing that course, and the event went great. So until next year, those are our winners. Those are our victors. And we have a great event to look back at and an even better one to look forward to this coming year for the GSNC 7. Wow, I can't believe it's 7. 7 outings. We're going on our 7th outing of existence of GSN, of GIN. And it's just crazy to really think about where it started. Going back into October of a year and yesteryear, 2020, during COVID, playing at Flushing Valley, less than a month to plan the outing. We do it. We have the outing. It's cold out. Okay, we're talking early mornings. We're talking never put an event on like this before. And it was a great success. It was a great time. We made it work. We made it happen. And we've been trying to one-up that first event ever since. And the event will always continue to get better year after year. So we're so happy to put it on. It's a blessing to put it on. Thank you to everyone involved, the volunteers, the course, the sponsors, the players. Everybody does a great job. Everyone comes together to make that a very special day. And I'm forever thankful to everybody for that honor to put this event on. Good deal, ladies and gentlemen. We'll leave it at that. Leave it on a high note. Listen, said at the beginning of the show, our country is healing. Our country is hurting. But healing follows hurting. So we have to continue to heal, continue to get better, continue to prosper, continue to pray, continue to be strong in our faith. Very strong elements to what makes us Americans. And we have to continue to believe that things will be better, that the times will be better. Because if we don't have belief, we don't have hope, we have nothing. Make sure to check us out on social media. Find us on our website, ginsportsnetwork.com. Find us on IG at Gin Sports Network, and find me on Twitter at Gin Commish. We'll talk more on there. For now, I'm John J. II with the Gin Sports Network podcast. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.